right, welcome back to Hot Take Sports, episode 66. Today's been a pretty eventful day in the world of sports. We got together today to watch UFC Orlando. We'll dive into that a little bit. Also, College Football Championship Day, so we'll make sure to dive into that. But we'll go around the circle first. Matt, how we doing?
I'm a little cold, a little gassed. Just wrapped up Hell Week, for college. Got a couple final exams this week. Got to study for. Other than that, wrapping up the year.
Leo?
We're doing great. This week we're starting night shift, so that'll be fun.
There you go. Gotta love not seeing the sun.
Oh, I forget it's December now. So yeah, your holiday
When do you
season.
start that? Is that next Friday?
Sunday night.
This Sunday night.
Yeah, so tonight.
Boy.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I didn't
yeah.
even think about that. Well, good luck with that.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Isaac?
Stressful or eventful.
Just say lucky.
He's at a loss
Lucky.
for words.
You are feeling eventful. Good for you.
He's at a loss
Yeah.
for words, ladies and
Yeah.
Yeah,
He should be. Brady?
feeling pretty good. Somehow lucked into not having to go in the water. So.
Again, classic
You literally
Brady
weren't
thing.
even here. Stop saying
Dude,
that.
this
It was too easy for you. You didn't have any chance anyways.
all they did was the same thing.
You weren't
but just
sitting there
had to
sweating the
guess
whole
faster.
time like the rest of us.
It's true.
We had to guess and wait. He just had to guess a 50-50 shot and move on.
You literally had a coin flip.
I know.
Pretty
Yeah, and
much.
he ended
we
up-
did not.
It
It was
ended
just
up
whichever
5 and
name
4
you
after his
remembered
9
from the
guesses.
two that were said to you.
No, I remember both of them. I just gotta pick
Well,
one.
How about you, Clayton? How are you doing?
I'm freezing too, Matt. I am very cold, and I also have exams this week. Anyway, so I guess we'll start with the UFC since we're already kind of there. This was UFC Orlando. There were 14 fights on the card, and 4 of the 5 watched all 14. Brady had a Thanksgiving, so he showed up a little late, but 14 fights. Matt and I finished 6-8 picking. Isaac and Leo both finished 7-7, right?
Nothing wrong with 500. Nothing wrong with 500.
Yeah, the punishment for tonight, it's currently December 3rd, and it is 20 degrees outside.
It
The-
feels like 16, I
Yeah.
believe.
Yep,
It's
there were
freezing.
6 of us that finished 6-8, so we all had to go into the pond waist deep and run back out.
Yeah, shout out to Mama Scalina for not letting us jump off the dock because we might not have come out.
Yeah,
That would've been
Leo
cold,
would have
dude.
come in after you.
You weren't coming in after us.
You right. I'd have been like, here's a rope. Here's
What?
a rope.
Just pull each other
You'll
out.
figure it
I'd
out.
put an anchor on the end of that bad boy. Just gaze him by.
That's horrible.
Well,
But yeah, so it was Matt, me, and then Alex, Jacob, John, and Ben. So shout out to the boys who went in. We're all much closer now because of that.
Shout out to Jacob for clowning himself into having
That's
to go in.
facts. Jacob picked.
Meme Hall of
You
Fame.
picked what, 10-4?
He
on
was
the
9
night?
and 5.
9-5?
Yeah.
Jacob was 9 and 5. Picked the best record, but because he kept saying, "Oh my gosh, this doesn't matter," we all
he kept clowning everyone who was below him.
exactly. So his punishment was he got to pick who he wanted in the final, but if that person lost, he had to go in. And the main event tonight was Stephen the Wonderboy Thompson versus Kevin Trailblazer Holland. Stephen Thompson won via injury knockout in the 4th round. Leave it to Isaac Bradley Dean to pick the noticeable dog who is 9 years younger or 9 years older
Yes.
than the other guy and have him win via injury.
We
To
had,
be
what,
honest-
we had 6 people tied, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we had 7 because he was the 7th.
No, because we had 5 people go in. Only 4 of us were because
No, 6 of us went in.
Yeah.
So we had 6 people tied. You were right. Because Jacob only went in because he was clowning all
Yeah,
of us.
mathematically.
Yeah, Jacob had
So,
a 6-win streak.
Yeah,
Jacob picked
was-
6 fights in
Yeah.
a row at one point.
Jacob-
Absolutely insane.
But yeah, we had 6 people. Isaac was the only person to go against the grade.
I had
and
to.
lucked into it.
And
And
lucked
to
it.
be honest,
I had
that
to.
39-year-old.
I'll give it to him.
39.
Deserves it.
I'll give it to him.
I had to. It's like a ride and die.
Well, I
You-
was gonna say somebody had to.
That was the way to go, honestly.
Someone
'cause
had to, and I'm like, Tyreek Hill moment. Give me the weird blow.
Alright, you're done.
But Stephen Thompson looked great. Like, he was 39 years old.
didn't
He looked
look
great.
39.
No.
No. He looked
No.
like he was
No.
30, just like.
Not
Yeah.
the first round. Look, It looked like
The first
Holland was
round
gonna destroy
looked like
him.
Holland
The
was going to
first two was gonna
cruise to an
dominate him.
easy victory.
The
First two
second
looked all right.
one,
The second round was more
close.
competitive. I still had it for Holland, but
I
it was
did too,
very
but
competitive.
A lot of other people said they had Thompson winning, so that was fun.
it was close.
The
It
next
was
two,
close. The
3
next
and
two
4
were
definitely
Thompson for
Thompson.
sure.
He dominated.
For sure. Kevin Holland just didn't have an answer. Wonderboy is a great striker. He's got a karate base, so
That
he's very dynamic with kicks, very dynamic with punches. Fun to watch. Good. Putting Wonderboy against a striker is fun to watch. So I'm happy that this main event lived up to the hype. That was so much fun.
I'm about to say his legs are powerful.
Yeah.
If you
Really
can break
broke
a
the
bone.
dude's hand. So he-
Yeah.
Yeah, he blocked his kick so many times to the head that he just caught him on the hand once or twice and just broke it.
There's a good video of right after they called it in the 4th round. Isaac's celebrating in the background, and everybody else is just like staring at the floor. Like, wow. We actually blew that.
Well, the craziest part was that they did it twice because they called the fight once.
Right. They waved it off because
low
they
blow.
thought, yeah, they thought Kevin Holland was done, so the ref waved it off. Holland explained to him, hey, low blow. So they reviewed it, kept the fight going. And then at the end of that round, Kevin Holland's corner threw in the towel.
Yeah.
I get it, but, dog, it's so cold. However,
Hey,
Isaac, you have to honor our bet now.
I will.
Isaac and I made a bet beforehand that if Kevin Holland won, I would buy a Kevin Holland t-shirt, and since Stephen Wonderboy Thompson won, you get to buy a Stephen Thompson t-shirt.
Send me the website.
So how expensive?
You
are
can
those?
look for it. You have a phone.
UFC.com.
There's something out there. They all have their own websites too, anyway.
Yeah.
But another great highlight of tonight was our boy Bryan Barberena making his return to the octagon against former champ Rafael dos Anjos. Not the outcome we wanted. It wasn't a great stylistic matchup for Bryan. He lost via 2nd round submission. There's not really too much we have to say, you know.
Just didn't have the room, or Rafael wasn't giving him the room to do anything, really.
Yeah.
yeah, every time he tried to put a combo in, Dos Anjos just put his head into his chest and didn't allow him to get too many strikes off. So.
Had him pinned up against the cage a whole lot in the 1st round, and then the 2nd round, and then they just kept tussling on the floor there for a little while.
Props to Bryan for lasting like the last 2.5 minutes of the 1st round, just fighting on the ground.
Yeah.
His life, pretty much.
That was just the classic
Yeah.
grappler versus striker.
Be honest, Brian could fight again soon, probably.
He realistically, Bryan didn't take that much damage.
No.
No.
He could take a month off, schedule a fight, and go.
He wouldn't fight again until at least February.
I'd say February.
Yeah.
Not
Realistically,
moving.
another name that was on that Bryan mentioned on our previous show, which go check out our previous interviews with Bryan. A name that he mentioned both times was Nico Price. Nico Price was on the card tonight and got knocked out by what was that guy's name? Nico Price lost via TKO in the 3rd round. I picked Nico Price, so that one hurt. But yeah, I think that Nico Price versus Bryan makes sense. You know, Nico Price didn't shoot for takedowns. You know what I mean? That fight was standing the whole time, and that's where Bryan is the most comfortable. That's where you can find the most success. Phil Rowe, that's right. So yeah, I think that Nico Price versus Bryan Barberena in February or March makes a lot of sense.
That'll be fun. Big power hitters.
Exactly.
Just
That's a
rubber hands.
fun fight.
Imagine
I think the
it
March
fall-
would be the birthday card.
That's true.
Yeah, one of our birthdays.
Exactly.
Here's that.
But yeah, bad beat of the night definitely goes to me. I was the only one who picked Tai Tuivasa to try and get ahead, and he got knocked out in the first minute.
You kind of
so
you did what I did late. Though.
yeah, except I got burned, and you
Yeah,
lucked
it was
into
bad.
a
Yeah.
victory
Yeah.
when it mattered most.
It was a minute and a half fight or something like that.
It didn't even last a minute. Tai Tuivasa got knocked out 2 months ago and then came back, and I was like, oh yeah, he's fine. No, stupid.
We
No.
watched him get knocked out.
Yeah, he got
Yeah.
knocked out in fairly devastating fashion by Sergey Pavlovich.
Pavlovich.
Whatever,
Russian.
some
Whatever.
big Russian dude.
Yeah,
he knocked
pretty
out
much.
Derek Lewis in
Absolute
less than a
Terminator.
minute too. I don't know what I was thinking, but yeah, I think bad beat of the night definitely goes to me. My favorite fight was Darren Elkins.
Yeah.
I think. I don't know about you guys, but I think my favorite fight tonight was Darren Elkins.
Yeah.
I think so.
I think the last fight was probably my favorite.
Yeah.
The
That was
Thompson
really
solid.
They were both They were good for different reasons. Thompson versus Holland was good because it was competitive, and both guys were doing good.
Well, and the energy in the room was insane.
Oh, yeah, because
it all came down to
it
that
all
last
came
fight.
down to the last fight. And almost all of us, except for Isaac, were riding Holland. Ugh. So much fun. That was great.
I wasn't going in.
But Darren Elkins got the crap kicked out of him. He was a bloody mess by the end of that.
It was so nice.
Yeah.
That was very anticlimactic with his tattoo
And then watch his own blood just
Yeah.
covering his
We were
chest.
split on that, right?
What?
The room was split on that, right?
The room was
Ballpark,
pretty
like
split.
7-5.
Yeah. But another good fight tonight was Mark, I'm not even going to try and pronounce his last name, versus Michael Johnson. Shout out to Michael Johnson for putting on fun fights. You know, he was in there trading the whole time. He was definitely the more active fighter, so yeah, shout out to Michael Johnson. That was another good one. But that's pretty much all I have for the UFC tonight. Does anybody have anything else they'd like to add?
No,
There was
good.
one boring fight, but
That'll happen. There were
Yeah.
14 and 13 of them were fairly solid, so
Yeah, could not complain. Definitely better than
no.
the last event we all watched together.
that's
We paid
facts.
for that one.
Yeah, we paid for that too, dude. That
Yeah.
I will never buy Thug Rose ever again. Never. I'm not doing it.
No.
If we want to watch Thug Rose, we're going to B-Dubs. I'm not buying it. But yeah, good night of fights. But today was also College Football Championship Day.
Dun,
Um, yeah,
Crazy championship.
crazy
Friday,
day, man.
Friday
Weekend,
night
I
we
guess,
had
yeah.
who was it Friday night?
USC versus
What was
Utah.
that?
Utah.
Pac-12,
Utah.
was it?
That was
Yeah,
Pac-12.
That was Pac-12.
Their spot.
The Utah Utes and the
USC Trojans.
USC Trojans, number 4.
Yeah.
Number 4 got beat. Number 4 goes
My
down.
bad.
They got beat pretty bad there at the end, but Caleb Williams did not have a left leg for the remainder of the second quarter and the rest of the game.
Right.
He pulled his hammy, and he is essentially probably the best dual threat quarterback in college football before that game. And then he just looked not even close to the same after that because all the read option plays are scrambling outside of the pocket, which was getting them up 17-3 early in the first.
Right.
It
That
all
wasn't
went
an
away.
option.
It all went away because he had to actually stand in the pocket and throw, whereas USC's offensive line usually doesn't have to block for like 6 seconds. They have to block for 3, and then he runs around them and throws the ball.
Right.
But props to Utah for showing up and
Yeah.
playing good and giving Ohio State a really good chance to come in at 4.
That was big.
That was
Them
big.
getting beat fairly handily
Yeah.
helped us big time.
Especially near the end there.
Yeah.
Shout out to LSU quarterback for sticking it out for the rest of the half with his ankle.
His ankle was in pieces already. He was so taped up and everything.
But he stepped in there and threw some good passes.
Georgia ended up winning that game 50-30. No real surprise there.
No, LSU played with a backup quarterback. The
Right. And
rest of the year.
Georgia's
Georgia's Georgia.
they're,
Best
they're,
nation. I mean,
there's no
Yeah.
argument there. There's no
They're
real argument
They're probably
against
gonna
that.
repeat.
You say Stetson Bennett's playing good football.
Right.
Probably
Yeah.
the best that a Georgia quarterback has
Yeah.
played in a long time.
They'll probably.
I can't even name a quarterback that played for Georgia other than Matthew Stafford and Stetson
Jake,
Bennett.
Jake Fromm.
Jake
Pretty sure-
Fromm.
Jake Fromm. I think he did.
Justin
Yeah.
Fields.
Jake Fromm.
Justin.
Nobody remembers that though. Nobody cared about Georgia Justin Fields.
I don't know. I don't even know. I'm not even sure if you're supposed to.
Shoot,
I
you
just
right?
remember
Yeah,
seeing him
because
in
Yeah, I know.
I knew he was
Yeah,
there.
sorry,
Yeah.
Tracy.
I remember
Shout out.
transferring.
TCU lost too, so they'll probably play
TCU
Georgia
lost to
first.
Kansas State today in overtime.
They
So
should not be penalized for that.
No, I
No.
think TCU stays at 3.
TCU.
No,
No, they'll
TCU
go to
will go to
4.
4.
Who put at 3?
They
Ohio
had
State's at 3. It'll
They
be
won't-
Ohio
no,
State,
they
Michigan.
won't put
On
Ohio
the,
State at 3. They're not. That's why they
Why?
never put. That's why they never line up the SEC teams in the first round.
I will tell
So
you
you're saying TCU stays at 3?
I think they keep TCU at 3.
No, there
No,
is.
they
But
they
our
will
loss
go
is
down
more
to
than
4.
theirs.
Or
I
I
they
know,
must
but they're
win
not
this
going to put
weekend.
Ohio State, Michigan in the first round.
Well, yeah, but they're now.
Why
They're,
Why
not?
not?
Way more money.
Same reason.
Money.
Same
What
reason
I
they don't put
heard
anybody else
upstairs-
like that together in the first round.
The two analysts they were talking about their wins in their other conferences, in their conference.
Yeah.
The biggest win in Ohio State's conference was against Penn State, and the biggest one for TCU was against Kansas State, who just beat them. So they are saying that right now they're taking the Kansas State win from TCU. They're taking that over the Ohio State win that they got against Penn State, and that's why they would keep TCU at 3 and put Ohio State at 4.
I'm still.
But I personally would say that you switch it
I'd say
because if, from a money standpoint, which we all know that that's probably what they're looking
that's
at.
a huge
anyway,
motivator in sports. People
then
who
you
say
go
that
ahead
doesn't
and you
matter
get to watch the game again, just
on the
have
big
a
stage.
whole lot
Yeah, for the
more riding.
First time
on it.
ever, twice in one season.
Yeah.
First time
Yeah.
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 Yes.
First time ever.
That would be
You would make
amazing.
so much money.
But
And that's why they should do it.
also logically, just playing devil's advocate on both sides, TCU is 12-1. Ohio State's 11-1, so they do have one more win.
Yeah.
And they also
and
made
they
it
at
to the
least
championship.
They made the
They made it to their
championship.
championship.
So
So like, what happens if they're just like, oh no, Alabama should go?
Then
Well, then
college
I will
football is
ride
rigged.
it.
But
I will
some-
never
Then
football.
the
It already
country
is.
burns.
Tennessee beat Alabama, and Alabama's still ahead of them.
Yeah.
That's
Has been
Welcome
for like
to
the
3
biggest
weeks.
Saban
Tennessee fell
influence.
apart later
What?
in the end.
I know.
You sound surprised.
Yeah.
I'm not
Welcome to the
surprised.
know
It just
this by
shouldn't be
now.
like that.
You should know this by now that college football caters and literally bows to Alabama football, regardless of what they're.
I know they do.
But, quote, Clayton Scalina, probably episode 50-some, a 2-loss team will never make the college football playoffs in this format. Alabama, Tennessee,
2-loss team.
Penn State, Clemson, all
Yeah.
2-loss teams. None of them will make it.
Penn State will not make it because
I
they
hope
lost
not.
to Ohio State.
That the
If,
selections
if they
tomorrow,
really,
right?
Yeah,
if they
tomorrow
really
noon.
put
Tomorrow
Alabama in
noon.
it, then it's
Tomorrow
horrible.
today, yeah.
So,
Today at noon, yeah.
so that
Today.
means Georgia, 12-0.
Yes. One.
Michigan, 12-0.
Yeah.
Yep. Two.
TCU, 12-1. LSU is 11-2.
Nope.
Nope.
Not making
And they
it.
lost today.
They lost
That
today
was
too.
that was the two.
They lost.
And then Ohio State, 11-1.
Did they? I think they lost twice to Alabama, didn't they? Did they play
Who?
Alabama?
USC.
No.
Oh,
LSU?
Did they,
LSU
did they
beat
play regular
Bama.
season or no?
LSU
They
LSU
beat Bama.
beat Bama this year.
Sorry, not Bama. No, they didn't play Georgia because they're different sides of the conference.
Tennessee played Georgia.
Did I say LSU?
Yeah.
Well, I meant to say USC. They were the other 11-1.
I was gonna say I thought LSU has
Yeah,
4
L-
losses
no,
now.
LSU's 9-3. Now they're 9-4.
Yeah.
I meant
USC has
USC.
2 losses now too.
Yes, that's what.
Both,
I meant.
both of which to
And
Utah.
USC is now 11-2.
Mm-hmm.
So
And-
by that logic, Ohio
Yeah.
State is the 4th team.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
that-
and you don't need to worry about Kansas State and Utah because they had great wins, but they're 10-3.
Right, they
both
both have
10-3.
3. There's no
And they're
shot a
11
3-loss
and
team
10.
gets in.
There's
Yeah.
no way you shoot an 11 team all the way to 4 over Ohio State, which, I mean, granted, the last game we saw Ohio State play, it looks like they might have lost to Utah or Kansas State.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's no
The
reason
last
that.
half of the season, maybe.
Yeah, some of those games were
Arguably.
rough.
Yeah, CJ Stroud just played with no heart in the Michigan game. That loss is on CJ Stroud for refusing to run.
That's what it seemed like, yeah.
He had so many open gaps where he could have
but
ran
you
for
can't
7
put
or
it
8.
all on him because our defense was not good.
Well, I need a scapegoat. So,
All right. Well,
Yeah.
Then I'm using the defense as a scapegoat for him.
I was gonna say, I'll use Jim Knowles as a scapegoat.
The defense was fine until we gave up 1 big play, 2 big plays, 3 big plays, and 4 big plays.
Yeah.
Yep.
After you give
4
up
or 5
one,
touchdowns.
You say, all right,
don't get beat deep.
all right,
Don't.
they got lucky one time. If it happens again, then you're like, all right, we're switching this up because they already figured it out. You don't do it a 3rd and 4th time. You're like, well, shit, we're down 20 plus now. I think we should maybe switch it.
Well, it's worse
When it's a
because
minute left in the game.
the 4th one was a run play.
That was
Two of
bad.
them were runs, weren't they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
2 of them were.
Oh, 2 of them?
2 of them were.
I think
I was working though. I
Michigan
saw Peter's first,
also does not have Blake Corum at all because he got
which made it even
knee
worse.
surgery.
Oh, he
And
is done.
He's done.
He's officially done.
He is done, and that's why I think Purdue had a pretty good shot today because they didn't have to game plan for Blake Corum.
Right.
Well, I
They
think
still got
Ohio
beat by
State
20. They
game
still-
plan for Blake Corum.
Yeah.
And then Jim Knowles is like, all right, we'll just stay in it. When at that point in time, you should have transitioned to a quarterback spy and a deep zone.
Yeah, they should have kept Michigan in front of them, which is what Michigan did to us.
And it
that's
worked.
And it worked.
It
Yeah,
worked to
exactly.
perfection.
We didn't get the deep balls to Marvin Harrison Jr. or.
Well, we
like
did. It
usually
was
do.
just not
We got a
as
couple, but not
yeah,
as frequent.
yeah, exactly. It wasn't as effective. We
But-
got 2 or 3.
But it opened up the field.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Stroud should have run, and he didn't.
no one ran. DJ McCarthy did though.
If they're smart,
seriously.
they will put Ohio State, Michigan together.
I think they should.
I think
If
that
they
will
are
be
smart.
strictly, not saying that it should be like this, but strictly for money. Strictly for the money.
If they put Ohio State at 4 and Ohio State somehow plays the best game of football of their life and they beat Georgia, Ohio State will win the natty.
If whoever's at 4, if they beat Georgia, they win.
Yes.
Straight up.
This
If
is
they
giving
beat
me
Georgia, they
vibes
win.
of. This give me the vibes of the. What year was it?
The
Was
Bama.
it? No, 2014 or 2015 when we were 4.
Yeah.
2014.
When we
Played
played Bama.
Played Bama
And we
and
beat
Oregon.
Bama, and then we destroyed
Destroyed
Oregon
Oregon.
in the Natty. The first year it was actually a thing.
That was when Marcus
Yeah.
Mariota was the quarterback of
Yep,
Oregon.
and then that was when Zeke was the running back at Ohio State.
Right.
And basically solidified
Cardale
himself as the
Jones.
4th overall pick for the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
There-
Alabama.
Man,
won.
Ohio State had 3 and 4 that year because Joey Bosa went 3,
Yes.
didn't he?
Yeah.
Was that the
Three,
Joey Bosa
3,
year?
4, and 10, I
No,
think.
Jalen Ramsey went 5. Jalen
Right.
Ramsey
Yeah,
went 5. He
because
went
him
5
and Zeke were
because,
picked the same year.
yeah,
I remember
Yeah.
because
that.
I was
Yeah.
hoping that we were going to get Jalen Ramsey.
Yes,
because-
Clayton, you're right. It was 3, 4, and 10. It was Bosa at 3, Zeke at 4, and then Eli Apple at 10.
Yep. Yep.
Y'all got
Dude,
burned,
but
Cincinnati.
but
No,
Eli Apple
that was the Giants.
Yeah,
Giants picked Eli
The
Apple?
Giants
Yeah.
picked Eli Apple.
Didn't he
Then-
end up at the Saints at one point?
Yeah.
Yes,
he's
he just
already
he signed with the
been on 3
Bengals before
teams.
last season.
He's already been on 3 teams.
Yeah, the Bengals are his third team.
So Brady, what year did they refuse to put conference teams together?
I did
They
just hear
tip,
that.
they
though.
tip, I guess
I don't
Georgia and
know
Alabama are
conference.
typically 1 and 2, which
I
is
don't
could
know
be.
conferences well enough to know this. So like I'm scrolling through them. 2014-15 was Alabama, Oregon, Florida State, Ohio State.
None of them were cross conference.
No.
They're all different.
15-16 was Clemson, Alabama, Michigan State, Oklahoma.
All separate as well.
Michigan
All
State.
separate. Man, Michigan State made the playoff. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
They were
real
good that
They
year.
were real good.
This one's interesting too. 16-17 was Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, Washington.
Yeah, I remember
Washington.
Washington.
I remember
made it.
Washington being
Washington
there.
got absolutely clapped.
Yeah, they got demoed.
So did we.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we got smoked that year too.
They did by Clemson.
Clemson.
Yeah. Was
'Cause
that
that was
that
Trevor
was
Lawrence,
Trevor
right?
Lawrence and that was Justin Fields throwing a pick to end the game
That
because
was Fields'
it was
first
either
year.
Olave or Njigba ran an option route at the top and
They went
he
the other
broke
way.
right and Fields threw
Threw
it
it
back
left.
left
Yep.
and they just had a wide open pick in the end zone.
So 17-18 was Clemson, Oklahoma, Georgia, Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
That was the year that there was no undefeated teams. They were all 12-1 except for Alabama.
Clemson, Oklahoma, Georgia, Alabama.
Yeah.
In that
That-
order?
Yes.
And
Okay,
that
Georgia
was-
and Alabama are in the same
What year,
conference.
what year was that?
Yeah, but they're 3 and 4, so they wouldn't have
Right.
matched up.
Yeah, but that's what we're saying.
Yeah, I know,
They didn't
I know.
national, but I don't know, like, who would have been the quarterback in Oklahoma at 17-18?
Baker Mayfield.
Baker.
Was it Baker?
It was Baker
It was
Mayfield.
either-
that was
it-
his senior
yeah.
It
year.
was Baker.
Yeah, it was Baker because it was either between Baker or Hurts.
Yeah,
That was
'cause Hurts
Baker
Hurts
Mayfield's
transferred in
senior
after Mayfield graduated.
No, after
We picked Baker
'Cause
Mayfield in
Kyler.
2018.
Kyler was after Baker.
Oh, yeah,
Kyler-
yeah.
yeah,
Oh
could've
shoot,
been
I
Kyler.
forgot about Kyler.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah,
right,
it could have been
right.
Kyler.
I think Kyler was there because I think
This
I
was
thought Baker was on the
Baker.
Browns in 2017.
No, I think we
No.
picked him at number 1 in
yeah,
18.
yeah,
18. This is
Mayfield was
that
the
was
18 draft.
Baker.
Gotcha.
So, does it sound like there was any reason for them to keep Georgia and Alabama separate, or is it just probably the order of those?
That was
That
just
was
the
just
order
the
they were
order
already
they
in.
were.
Okay, and then 18-19 was Alabama, Clemson, Oklahoma, or no, Alabama, Clemson, Notre Dame, Oklahoma.
Notre Dame doesn't count as a football team. Moving on.
All right, fair enough. 1920 was LSU, Ohio State, Clemson, Oklahoma.
Yeah, there's
That just
no-
sounds weird.
Ohio
That just
State
sounds
lost
odd
again
when you
to
say that out
Clemson.
loud. That was Joey B.
No, we beat them that year.
I don't think.
I
so.
mean-
Then we got destroyed by Alabama.
I mean, I guess more so.
Yeah, LSU.
I mean,
What?
like as
Yeah.
we talk
We
about
didn't play
it,
LSU in the championship.
but
game.
like the more you
No.
go through it, I mean,
Yeah.
Clemson,
Yeah, we lost
Clemson
to
and
Clemson.
Oklahoma have both
Yeah.
been in there a bunch,
That's what I said.
which
That
neither of
was
them are Big
Burrow.
Ten or SEC. Which I think is one of the big problem or bigger things is 5 of the top 6 teams are either Big Ten or
Yeah,
SEC.
that's when it was Burrow versus Clemson.
Okay, and I'll go through the last two. 2020, 2021 was Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, Notre Dame. That was the shortened year because we were 6-0 that year. And we
Yeah.
were third ranked.
Yeah. And they put us up there, and pretty sure we lost too.
I think we got beat by
Maybe
Clemson again.
barely were playoff eligible.
Yeah.
Yep.
Barely.
And then last year, Alabama, Michigan, Georgia, Cincinnati. So to your point, that's never happened.
Yeah, I know because they've never been in this situation because there's always been more than two of the
You can't say
conferences.
they always do that.
But they're not going to.
You never
Why not?
know that.
Why not?
I don't.
Why not?
I don't
Why
think they
not?
will.
Money.
Give us an actual reason.
Money.
You don't think that they'll put Ohio State versus Michigan together?
No.
So you're telling me that they didn't
I think-
rig... Hang on. You're telling me they didn't rig NCAA basketball to make sure Coach K's final game was against North Carolina?
Are those different committees, or are they the same committee for football and basketball?
It's college sports in general.
Are you
It doesn't
talking about
matter.
It's the
just
NCAA.
Yeah, obviously it's different people.
Are you talking about March Madness?
Well, if they're different committees, so that's a.
No.
But they're still under the
That's-
NCAA blanket.
NCAA.
It's the same principle. You're telling me they wouldn't rig college basketball to make a bunch of money the same way they wouldn't rig football?
I don't know. I mean, they haven't had to rig football. Half the time when Alabama and Georgia are both in,
This script
they're-
is
then
set
they both made the
perfectly.
finals.
It
To be
sets
Ohio State.
perfectly.
It's just perfect. I think it's just ironic how it ended up.
I think Ohio State will be.
This time, I think it's ironic.
This time, yeah, but I 100% think that, especially when it got closer and closer, they're like, all right.
But we also just gave the perfect argument for TCU to be 3.
True.
Exactly.
They have one more win and they made their conference
Well,
championship.
they were also barely 12-0. Like in their last
Well,
2
we were
to 3.
barely 11-0. I
But
mean,
still.
we barely beat Maryland. We barely beat Rutgers. I mean,
Barely beat Maryland is right.
Northwestern
Northwestern.
was another
I'm
good
about
one.
to say Maryland was good to
Northwestern
start the
was
year
not
off,
good.
though. And then
To
they got
Aaliyah.
healthy at the right time when they played us.
2-tag. The other one. So, yeah. We'll see. 10 hours from now, give or take.
Yeah. Today is also a big day in Bowling Green football. We find out what bowl game we're getting.
Oh yeah, you guys made a bowl game.
Get
We
the
did.
GoDaddy.
That'd be the most Matt McDonald thing of all time, make the GoDaddy Bowl.
I hope you
Hey,
do.
they could make the Little Caesars Bowl. We could go, technically. Detroit.
It's not called the Little Caesars Bowl anymore, but there is one in
Then
Detroit.
We're not going.
All right.
Jeez.
All right.
I remember I went to that with my dad, brother, and uncle, I think.
I went to that too when BG was in it. Yep.
Ah, man.
No, that'll be
That was in
Toledo's bowl
2013.
game just for fun.
I would be.
We don't talk about that school here, Braden.
2013.
Portland pulled it out.
Hey man.
Don't hey man me. No.
They were playing
No.
Utah, right?
Yeah,
They may have won the MAC this year. They beat OU 17-7 today. Uninspiring performance by a garbage school. But they don't have the trophy that really matters, which is the Battle of I-75. So all you UT stands out there, come get some. And Matt McDonald is your dad.
Not-
You're gonna
not
hate
anymore
me for
because
saying
he's-
this.
He's great.
What?
They played with their backup quarterback when they played you.
Doesn't matter. Who's got the trophy, Isaac? Who's got the trophy?
All I'm
Next
saying
man
is
up
they.
mentality.
Next
doesn't matter.
man up.
You're a D1 football team. Next man up. Time to play.
Is that
I
your
could make
excuse
that
for the
same
Browns?
argument
I'm
for
just
us
saying
playing
Toledo's
Mississippi State.
quarterback is-
Matt McDonald was unhealthy and our
He's
head
been
coach
good.
wasn't there. If those two things were different, we could have beat Mississippi State.
They played quarterback.
Yeah, I said that. That's what I just asked him. I was gonna say, is that the same excuse for the Browns?
Bring it up.
then?
Do it. Do it.
Do it. Say it. It is Watson Day. It's like
It
a
is
national
It is
holiday.
Watson Day.
It's
The Browns are in
I think he's
Houston,
gonna flop
Texas.
first game.
Oh,
he'll
I do
flop
too.
hard.
No, I
think
do
he'll
too.
Flop hard.
I do
Their
too.
Lose to Kyle
their
Allen
season's
and
already
Damian
over
Pierce.
Anyways, you might as well get the memes out of it.
We have a 4.5% chance to make the playoffs. It's not over
I'm
yet.
I'm
Might as
calling it
well
right
lose to the
now.
Texans. It would be
I will
so
call it
funny.
right now.
That would be
Watson
wild.
gets benched and Brisket will come back.
No,
Oh
no,
my
no.
God.
Hold
I
on.
warned
That's a
you.
hot take.
I-
right there.
Hold on.
Oh.
No. If they're gonna lose to the Texans, it's gonna be on a shaking it with York missed field goal.
I don't know what's wrong
I
with
feel
that
like he's
man,
been
but
solid the last few
Nick
weeks.
Chubb.
not
He has
last week.
No, not
Wait,
last
hold on,
week.
hold on,
He missed
hold
a
on,
field
hold
goal.
Dude,
What-
it
what-
was atrocious.
Oh,
to
dude,
miss,
it was a
too.
bad. That was
It
a
looked like it was
bad.
Why did you
That's
clear
right. I
your
do
throat
remember
and say
seeing
Nick
that.
Chubb?
He missed it. He like pulled it to the left.
This man just cleared his throat and goes, oh, Nick Chubb.
What about
Why?
it?
What about
Because
it?
they're going to give the ball to Nick
No,
Chubb.
you won't.
Well,
If
you
you're
hope so.
if you're debuting Deshaun Watson,
That's
you will
true.
throw the ball 40
You
times.
did just debut. You are debuting your $200 million quarterback.
Yo,
Against
hope-
his former team, yeah, we're throwing the ball
Yeah,
tomorrow.
he'll
It's
throw
literally
the ball,
scripted. If you want
but
to talk about fixing
Nick
anything,
Chubb will have
this game
30
is
Yeah,
fixed
carries.
right here.
that's too. You can't tell me that's not for money.
Yeah.
Well,
They literally
That was
banned
all
him
for
until
money.
they played the Texans.
Let's make sure TP.
well, yeah, they banned him for 12 weeks, 11 games. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which,
Like Clayton this
which
week.
the 11 game suspension really threw me off until I was like, oh, he's suspended for the bye week too. Yeah, it would have been 12 weeks. They had a late bye
Wasn't
week.
he been practicing since last week?
He's been
I
practicing.
think he's been
He's
practicing
been
like 2 or 3.
practicing for the
weeks.
last 2 or 3. I
But-
want to say the last 2, maybe.
Did you see how many people in his case are actually attending?
It's
Like
like,
20 people.
yeah,
Like 20 people are going to the game.
including
And
the
everyone's
lawyer.
like, why?
Yeah,
it's,
like,
it's all publicity. Stuff.
like
It's
why?
So bad.
What makes you think
It's freaking hilarious.
that's so irritating?
Yeah.
They're all gonna hold signs or something.
Oh, yeah.
No, they're sitting in a suite.
That's sweet.
They
You
used to have
think
signs.
you think if I go to a game like that where I'm just looking for publicity, I'm not gonna have a sign?
Are you going to be inside of a suite?
Guarantee you.
Yeah.
Hey.
I'll have a
over,
sign.
under,
I'm not
care.
holding the sign. in this
Over
week, I'm
under.
chilling.
How many times do they show that suite?
I would be willing to bet once a quarter minimum.
Oh,
Minimum.
So
You
you
could
would
play
you
a
would do over
drinking
3.5.
game out
Yeah.
of it.
I would hammer the over.
you're not allowed to say that.
I don't think
What
they-
did he
You
say?
said you could make a drinking game out of that.
This is not an adult podcast, dude.
No.
It's adult enough.
We got a year.
Yeah, we're not old enough for that. Drinking Mountain Dew.
Obviously.
Of course.
Obviously.
I never said what kind of beverage. You can use any beverage you
Okay,
want.
Junior, change the subject.
Moving on. Anyway, did you guys see what their quarterback? What's his name now? Kyle Anderson.
Kyle Allen.
Kyle Allen. That's right. He tweeted at Myles Garrett, "Be nice to me this week," because they were teammates.
He
in
played-
college.
Allen's
yeah.
brother, you know that?
Really?
No.
Oh. I was gonna say what?
You could have sold that on
Dude,
anyone
you
who
could have
didn't
had
know
me right
football.
there. I would have been like, huh?
If someone didn't know football, you could have sold that easily. But who you
Oh,
know
yeah.
later,
But
like,
R.I.P. Davis Mills. That experiment blew up. They pick a quarterback this year. They take
Yeah.
Bryce Young, probably.
I wonder if Blake.
Whoever's available.
I wonder if
Not
Blake will
CJ
take it all
Stroud, I'm
back
taking
if
Bryce Young.
CJ leads us
I mean,
to
I am
Cincinnati.
too. I'm not taking CJ Stroud in the NFL. I don't think.
Nah, dude.
He's an Ohio State quarterback. They don't do good in the NFL.
Is that
Justin
Justin?
Fields is doing fine.
Justin
doing
Fields
good.
is doing okay.
It's his rookie and
It's his second
Is
year.
it his
Third
Second,
year.
second best
Sophomore
Ohio
year?
State,
This is-
second best Ohio State quarterback in the NFL. Terrell Pryor.
Nobody left.
I know.
I don't know.
Good.
trying to think.
Braxton Miller had at least one good year as a wide
Yeah.
receiver.
Question.
Terrell Pryor was a great
Also
wide
Houston.
receiver.
Yeah.
Terrell Pryor had a 1,000-yard season for the Browns when we were 0-16.
Did he really?
He
Yeah,
did.
Wow.
He did. He
Yeah.
was.
I actually think I had him finish
It was
here.
either throw the ball
Straight
to
up.
Terrell Pryor or watch Corey Coleman or Antonio Callaway drop the ball. So
Clayton, I'm almost 100% sure that was the year I had Terrell Pryor fantasy.
that would make sense.
Yeah.
That's wild.
That
All right.
idiot Deshaun Kaiser at the helm. It wasn't his fault, but
Baby Deshaun
Yeah.
Watson.
Yes.
so anyway.
They
so-
look the same. Have you ever looked at them side by side?
Mm-mm.
No. Deshaun's
I will say my favorite hot take I've heard this year was one of my friends saying in our ROTC group chat, whatever, Josh Dobbs is basically Deshaun Watson anyway. Are you kidding me? Eric, I'm sorry, buddy. No. That is a hot
He
take.
did the same thing he did for
It's not a hot thing. That's the horrible thing.
Ride the pine.
Why are you raising your hand?
I don't know. I wouldn't talk.
Then talk.
Okay.
I don't know. I just want to be told.
I have an over under for you. I have a couple of them.
Over.
Oh boy.
Don't even need to hear over.
Deshaun Watson, 29.5 passing attempts. Over or under?
Over.
Over.
That's
They're going to
amazing.
try and show them off in Houston. We're going to try and beat the Texans by throwing the ball 100%.
I also don't believe. I don't believe Nick Chubb gets 30 carries. They don't run the ball against other teams. They're not going to run the ball in Deshaun Watson's
Speaking
debut.
of telling the Browns to run the ball, I sent a video in our group chat.
Yeah.
My buddy and I went to the Browns game last weekend, which was so much fun. We were sitting at the 50-yard line in the upper bowl. It was fun. It was a great view, great game. We ended up beating Tom Brady. Scotty Miller waved at us. My buddy was wearing a BG hoodie, and Scotty was warming up, and we yelled, "Scotty!" And he looked up, and he acknowledged us and waved to us.
That's sweet.
But highlight of the day was when Kevin Stefanski was running back into the locker room, and my buddy has a video of me yelling, "Run the ball, Kevin! Run the ball!"
Yeah, you.
Everybody around me was yelling that too. It wasn't just me.
Yeah.
And he listened.
Clayton, our friend group's technically 2-0 in First Energy Stadium.
That is true.
Yeah.
The only loss to a live game we had this year was when Isaac went and saw us play in
Detroit. It was worth it.
Hey, that's
It
an
was worth
experience that's hard to come
I-
by.
It was packed with Bills fans.
What are you two giggling about
All
over
right,
there?
about it, sweet.
So,
we'll talk about it after the show.
Oh yeah,
Oh no.
yeah.
This
It
is
was
gold. This is gold.
it was heck of an atmosphere. We got really good seats. We're
Oh,
like
yeah.
10 rows up from the end zone.
There you go.
It was super nice.
You got the best of both worlds. You got to be in his favorite team's stadium and watch his second favorite team win. Wait,
We didn't win that
I
game.
know.
We got
We
dominated.
We got dominated.
I know.
I watched Josh Allen tear us up.
Yeah. Did the Bills stay in town?
They did.
Yeah.
they did.
They
stayed in
picked the
hotel.
visitor sideline
Right.
too because they knew they were going to be there the next week.
The Bills were the first team to win back-to-back games in Detroit since 2016. Just the most
Awesome.
lion
Now that's
stat
That's got
ever.
a chance to be in the meme Hall of Fame.
Now
Yeah.
That's the most lion stat
I'm
ever.
going on my list.
Tomorrow's a big day.
Tomorrow is.
Today is a big day.
Well, you guys have anything else?
No, I think I'm good. This concludes episode 66 of the Hot Take Sports Podcast. Make sure to follow us on all our social medias at Hot Take Sports 16 for the greatest hot takes on the internet. Make sure to go check out Brady's mini-series, Keeping the Balance, and my new mini-series, Combat Talk. Yeah, thank you guys for listening, and we will see you all next time.
Oh, and the United States got eliminated by Netherlands.
Yeah,
We'll
look.
see you in 2026.
Yep. Rip Bozo.
Hey everyone, it's Brady with the Hot Take Sports Podcast. I'd like to take a moment out of this episode to thank the sponsor for today's episode, SeatGeek. Make sure to head on over to SeatGeek for all your ticketing needs, sporting events, concerts, anything else you may need a ticket for. Make sure to use code HTS for $20 off your first purchase. I used it. It saved me a lot of money. My most recent trip to the Browns and Patriots game. Feel free to check it on out and support the podcast.